Yesterday, the Detroit Lions had their very first day of voluntary workouts to kickstart the 2024 campaign. However, though, one of their biggest star players was not in attendance. Is there reason to be worried? We're going to talk about it in this episode, folks, so stay tuned.
What are we? What makes us what we are and what we're going to be? It's grit. It's what we started with last year, guys. Doesn't matter if you have one ass cheek and three toes. I will beat your ass.
Can definitely compete with the big dogs.
10-5 end zone touchdown Detroit Lions.
You guys are unbelievable, man. I'm telling you.
We are driven by Detroit.
Hello, Lions fans, and welcome on back to yet another episode of MCM Motor City Mania. I'm your host, David T. Pike, and as always, we're diving on in. So here's the thing, folks. Yesterday, we got word, we were told that yesterday was the very first day of the Lions voluntary workout program, which, again, high emphasis on the word voluntary. It's not mandatory, which means you are not obligated, you are not required to show up. However, though, that is not why we're having this quick segment. That's not why we're having this quick conversation. The reason why we're having this conversation is because it was just recently reported that one of the Lions' biggest stars was not in attendance for the very first day of voluntary workouts, and that is wide receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown. It just came across the wire about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours ago, that one of the biggest players that the Lions have was not there, which that's kind of hard to miss. I mean, Amon-Ra St. Brown is the best wide receiver that the Lions have by far. He's a top 10 wide receiver in the league, so when he's not there, his presence not being there is definitely going to be seen. It's definitely going to be noted. It's definitely going to have something to be talked about here. Now, I'm going to just say this right now. I already know that for some Lions fans that I have talked to, and that for some Lions fans that I've already seen post on social media, this is kind of, in their eyes, potentially maybe sounding some warning signals. It's maybe raising some red flags, because we have to understand why some people are thinking that. The reason why they're thinking that is because everybody knows that this is a contract year for Amon-Ra St. Brown. It's the last year of his rookie deal before he gets out on the open market potentially. Now, why is that a big deal? Why it's a big deal is because everybody knows that typically sometimes players will hold out from voluntary things so that way they can kind of drive home a point because they're like, hey, I'm not happy with the current situation. I'm dissatisfied. I want myself to get a contract. This has been a ploy. This has been a tactic that we have seen in times past and that we're currently seeing right now. Case in point, CeeDee Lamb did not report to voluntary workouts with the Cowboys. Justin Jefferson did not report to voluntary workouts with the Minnesota Vikings. T. Higgins did not report to voluntary workouts with the Cincinnati Bengals. The first two I'm sure of. The last one, T. Higgins, I'm about 75% sure of. So that one I could be wrong. But the whole point is this. We have seen this happen in the past where big-time players or players that are in the final year of their contract or looking for a new deal will sometimes say, hey, I'm going to make sure that my displeasure is known by not showing up to something that maybe I'm not required to show up to, but it is kind of expected that you show up. Now, here's what I'm going to say about all this. For those that think that this is Amon-Ra St. Brown trying to make a point, I think everybody that has that thought process needs to severely hit the damn brakes. They need to reevaluate themselves pretty damn fast. Let's first and foremost understand something here. That is not a move that would ever, in my opinion, happen with a Dan Campbell player. That is not a move that would ever happen with a Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell kind of team or culture, because that is not the type of franchise, the type of team mindset that the Lions have established. They're not going to pull petty, they're not going to pull selfish moves like that because, I'm not getting what I want. I'm going to just reserve myself and I'm going to hold back from the rest of the team activities. For my honest opinion, that is one side of it. But the other side of it is that freaking Jared Goff himself was asked about and, the reason why Amon-Ra St. Brown wasn't there. Jared Goff just shrugged it off. He's like, listen, dude, me and Amon-Ra St. Brown and the rest of the wide receivers, we've been putting in a lot of work this offseason out in Cali, doing route workouts. We've been doing freaking throwing sessions and all these other things. And it's like, listen, as far as I'm concerned, if Jared Goff's not worried about it, I'm not worried about it. And as far as I'm concerned, there's been no mention of any sort of dissension or concern from Dan Campbell or from Brad Holmes. They're not worried, so I'm not worried. But I know that for some Lions fans, it's kind of like, how should I put it? For them, it's like if they see smoke, they think there's instantly fire. Here's what I got to say. We don't know why Amon-Ra St. Brown wasn't there yesterday. He could have had a family matter. He could have had another personal type of matter, an emergency, or maybe something else came up. We don't know. But I can tell you this right now, thinking that Amon-Ra St. Brown simply didn't show up because, I don't have a contract, I'm going to be an immature individual, that's definitely not the damn reason. I can guarantee you that is not the reason. Because that is not the type of individual that Amon-Ra St. Brown is. That's not the type of team that Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes have built. Amon-Ra St. Brown knows, just like Jared Goff knows, they're going to get their money. They're going to get their contract. There's no reason to pull these kind of childish, immature games where it's like, because I didn't get what I want or I am not satisfied with what the team is doing, that I'm not going to show up. That's not something that you want to see out of a star player. That's especially not something you want to see out of a grown-ass individual. Sorry for my language, but I'm just like, dude, I get tired of hearing reports of people that are like, you know what? I don't want to show up because I didn't get what I want. I'm going to go on social media and I'm going to clear out my social media because I'm not getting what I want from the franchise because they're not doing what I want. They're not doing it fast enough, or they're not giving me enough of what I think I deserve. That to me is childish. That's petty. And I absolutely have no stomach. I have no toleration for that. And I absolutely, 100% down to my core, do not believe that's what's going on with Amon-Ra St. Brown. I just think that, hey, you know what? We don't know the full story. And I would not at all be surprised if Amon-Ra St. Brown possibly shows up tomorrow, or, you know what, maybe shows up shortly, and then we find out, hey, you know what? It was just this. It wasn't anything serious. I always intended to show up in the first place. But again, to go back to the very beginning of this episode, like I said, this is voluntary. It is not mandatory. So if a person shows up or does not show up, that's not that big of a deal, especially since we know Amon-Ra St. Brown is constantly putting in work all the time. So if he misses a day, I'm not going to be crying about it. I'm not going to be worried about it. And I don't think any Lions fans that have expressed concern already that he wasn't there should be worrying about it either. The Lions are going to make sure that Amon-Ra St. Brown gets a contract. He's going to stay here, just like the same thing with Jared Goff. So you know what? If they're not worried about it, I'm not worried about it. If Goff's not worried about it, I'm not worried about it. If, Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes aren't worried about it, I'm not worried about it, and neither should anybody else. It is what it is. But I wanted to make this episode because I already know that I've had people that have expressed it to me. I already know that I've heard people that have had concerns, and they're already doing that jump into conclusions nonsense, and it's like, wait a minute here. Going to jump you off at the pass, and we'll be like, hold up, don't go jumping to the wrong conclusions here. We don't know what's going on. But I guarantee you this, it is nowhere near as bad as what some people are trying to already play it off to be. Just cool it, wait and see what happens. I'm almost certain this is not that big of a deal. It's just, hey, you know what? He wasn't there yesterday. Big whoop. But anyway, folks, just wanted to put this together really quickly because I know it's something that is going already around the water cooler, especially in the Detroit Lions fan circles. I just wanted to put it out there to rest everybody's mind and make sure that they're not going off the deep end. But having said that, I just want to say to everybody, thank you all for watching another episode of MCM Motor City Mania. If you like what you saw, by all means, highly encourage y'all to watch the next episode. Also encourage y'all to do one of these three things: like, comment, and subscribe. If by chance you subscribed in the past, forgot to do so at the time, or you just subscribed and not had a chance to do so, again, please subscribe. We're almost to 6,000. Let's keep on going. I also encourage y'all, after you do subscribe, if you decide to do that, make sure you also hit that bell notification icon so that way you never miss any more content that I push out. I also want to encourage y'all to share this content with your Lions friends and family members. Share here on YouTube, share it on Twitter, share it on Facebook, share it anywhere and everywhere you can with everybody and anybody that you can. The more we can share it, the greater the channel spreads and grows. And with that being said to everybody, I hope y'all have had a blessed day. Hope y'all have had a great day. Hope y'all got something that makes you happy and makes you smile. I hope y'all enjoyed the content. And with that, I just want to say to everybody, God bless. And until the next time we meet, I'll see you all in the next episode.